I want to welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. And I'm so glad that you're here. Today, I'm talking about something that is really meaningful to me and to the many people that I've been talking to, especially over the last few weeks, but for a very long time. And that is why many spiritual women struggle to identify what makes their work really unique. What makes them unique? And that's something that many women, as I'm talking to different people that are coming to me to learn more about ancestral work, one of the things that seems to be a common theme is I know what I'm doing, but I don't know what makes it unique or how to create something that will stand out and that I'll be known for. We're going to talk about that today and the importance of that as well. So I'm happy that we're here. And I just want to say in the beginning that this is ancestral work. This isn't about business and branding. I don't see that as the main problem with the women that are coming to talk to me. And the reason why I say that is because they're coming because they want to have a deeper connection with their ancestors or they want to experience ancestral healing. But through that discussion, what I discover is that there is a unique natural ancestral medicine that runs through their blood and bones that they haven't tapped into yet. So this really is about ancestral work. And the people who work with me for ancestral connection in story healing and ancestral lineage medicine are really here to understand that our ancestors really are the foundation of this work and that many are gifted, we're trained, we're wise, and we know how to help others, but we still feel unsure about what it is that we're here to do or what it is that we're here to offer. Unsure about what is truly theirs to offer seems to come up quite a bit. Unsure about what really sits at the center of their work. And they're unsure about what is uniquely theirs. And this is real. This is a real problem that many women experience. And I'll have to say this, I've talked to several men that are experiencing it too. This uncertainty doesn't come from a lack of skill. You have the skills, you have the wisdom, you have the knowledge, you have the experience, you have the background, you've gone through trainings, you've learned, you've studied on your own. All of that is there. What it comes from, and this lack of really knowing what makes your work unique, what makes you a unique leader, what makes you a unique healer, what makes you a unique business owner, CEO, entrepreneur. It's something deeper. And what it is it's something deeper that hasn't been fully revealed to you. And this happens with women worldwide. This isn't something that's unique to any particular location on the planet. Women worldwide are experiencing this. And what has happened is that the lineage has yet to be fully listened to. We're not hearing our ancestors. We're not hearing the messages they have for us to help us know what the natural gifts are that are running through us. So we haven't been able to recognize it clearly. And sometimes the reason for that is because ancestral stories are interfering with clarity and they need to be healed in order for you to fully be able to hear what your ancestors are relaying to you. So this is why I treat this as ancestral work because it really is. The women that are coming to me are women who have a calling to do something really amazing in the world. It may be on a global level, it may be on a local level, it may be just with their families, but they're called and the ancestors are ready to support them with bringing their uniqueness, their magic to the world. And I spoke with a woman recently, and she was really interesting. Her work is the work that she's offering is unique and it's beautiful, but she still had some challenges with it. She had the certification, she was capable, experienced, she had wisdom, and she had real heart for her work. But she told me she still feels unsure about what her offer is, who her clients are, and how to offer her work. Now, I had been seeing her around for a number of years, offering retreats and offering, circles and in-person events, online events, seeing the things that she was doing. And I just thought she was, pretty solid in that. But what I found is in the back of everything, there was a lack of clarity. And what she was experiencing was some self-doubt, some visibility issues, some money issues, and we'll talk about that a little bit about how that impacts how we show up. Those are ancestral stories. Well, what she was experiencing also was offering all these different things, but none of them seemed to fully express the way she wanted to be seen and what she wanted to be known for. So she was trying different things, but nothing was quite hitting right. And I've seen that quite a bit. So if that's you and you've done that with your work as a leader, as an entrepreneur, where you're just trying all these different things, then yeah, definitely share with me if that's you. Because I know that that's where many women are, not because they're not giving or that they have nothing to give. It's because they haven't yet gotten clear on what's most true about their work. They haven't really become clear about what's naturally theirs and what is really ready to come forward at this time in this season for them. And I want to make this clear. This isn't the same as not being ready. It's not the same as not being gifted. It's not the same as needing more credentials. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Sometimes the issue is not more training. And we talked about that last week, how oftentimes when there's a lack of clarity, what people start to do is they start looking for more training. They start studying more. They start doubting themselves. They start looking at other businesses and how other businesses are put together and they try to maybe follow that business because it's had some success and maybe some of the things that the person is saying resonate with them when really it's an internal authority that we need to tap into, not external, not another class, not another training. That clarity needs to come from within. So sometimes the issue is that the deeper wisdom that is shaping the work hasn't really been clearly revealed. And that's where ancestral connection really, really matters because through ancestral connection, women begin to receive guidance. And I mean, on a deep level, you receive the guidance about what is being carried in your blood and bones. And that's where the real work is. And when you know what that medicine is that runs through your blood and bones that the ancestors have passed down to you, that they have perfected for generations, you really begin to see what has always been there. You begin to recognize what those natural gifts are that are running through you. What comes up naturally for you? What do you naturally do for people? And that's when you begin to understand the gifts, the wisdom, the medicine moving through your lineage and through you now. And what they know after doing this work is that the real success is already written in their DNA. It's already there. It's already in your DNA. And that's what happens when you really learn what is it that these ancestors have passed down to you. Many of us have ancestors that were healers. We have ancestors that were teachers, seers, creators, scientists, survivors. I mean, I could go on and on and on. We have ancestors that have already done this work and they've perfected it over generations. And now they're ready to pass it to you. And we know this because you're already here looking at how does ancestral wisdom, guidance, healing play a part in your life. You may already even feel some connection with an ancestor. And that's how you know they're calling you forward. You're the chosen one to come and do this work and to carry it forward. And for some, that ancestral medicine really is about healing the family lineage. For others, it's about making a difference on the planet. And it can show up in so many ways as an entrepreneur, as a spiritual entrepreneur, as a leader, even running for an office. It can show up in so many amazing ways, but we really can't see it until we actually tap into it. So then there's another layer that we also have to look at. Our lineage carries these gifts that we can tap into. Our lineage also carries stories. And we've talked about these, the ancestral stories, the stories about being seen. If you had an ancestor at some point that was rejected, abandoned, or even harmed, betrayed for being seen, those stories can show up. Stories about being safe. If your ancestors were in situations where they didn't feel safe, that story could be interfering with your ability to tap into that rich medicine that's available. Stories about not claiming too much, or stories about money, stories about shrinking, right? To not be seen as much. Stories about proving your worth. And the one that often comes up is stories about overworking instead of trusting what comes naturally. Yes, those are just some of the stories. There are a number of stories that can be showing up in your family lineage that are impacting how you deliver your work. And when I say work, oftentimes it makes it sound like it's only about business, but it really is about how you show up. Show up for your family, your friends, yourself. That medicine helps you on all those levels. But those stories that sometimes come up, the stories that our ancestors experienced, can sometimes block us from being able to really tap into that wisdom, that guidance that is always there for us. So sometimes when a woman cannot clearly identify what makes her work unique, it's not because anything is missing. Sometimes it's because those stories are playing in the background and they're sitting on top of what that unique medicine is. And these stories aren't about curses, they're about life and lived experiences of your ancestors. And your ancestors have experienced these, and they want to be sure that you're not experiencing life in the same way they did if those stories caused harm to them. And they want to protect you. What some of them don't understand is that protection can also mean interference. And so we work with them to be sure that that protection now becomes guidance and support, and it allows that medicine flow freely into your life. And that's why ancestral story healing matters. Healing clears what interferes with your clarity. It heals and clears what interferes with trust. It clears what interferes with the expression of what has long been in your lineage. And ancestral stories are held. They're held and they're transformed into something more positive. And when they are, you begin to see more clearly what has been there for you all along. So these stories, while they can cause some challenges for us, and they can be playing in the background when we're making decisions about our work, about being visible, about how we're going to show up, these stories can also give us some strength too. And when we work together, what I do is I identify what are the stories. Some of them are unconscious, right? But when I work with the ancestors, I can tell you which stories are showing up, which lineage side they're showing up in, whether it's your mother or your father's side, how far back this story started, and what needs to be done to release the story so that it's no longer interfering with the medicine that you carry. So that is where lineage medicine comes in. Lineage medicine helps reveal the natural gifts and wisdom and the deeper work that live in the lineage and move through you now. Ancestral healing helps us to release the stories that are preventing you from knowing what your lineage medicine is. So, lineage medicine helps you understand what's truly yours. What is yours? Not what sounds good, because we can get caught up in that too. Oh, that sounds like that's really good, but it may not be yours. It may not be aligned with your soul and why you came here. We're not looking at what is trendy. Oftentimes, that's another one that we can get caught into too. We're looking at what is the trend, what is everybody calling it, what is everybody saying, what is everybody focusing on. We get caught up in that, so it's not a trend. It's not even about what you think you should offer. It's about what is truly yours. What is uniquely yours? And that matters because when you don't clearly understand the medicine shaping your work, you often struggle in ways that show up on the surface. It makes how you talk about your work, how you deliver your work, really, really difficult and challenging. So you may not know what to center in your work. You may keep circling around and you're not sure what to offer and you're trying all these different things. And maybe some things are landing, but then sometimes they're not, and you're not able to do your work the way you would want to. You may struggle to explain what makes your work different. You may even stay up at night thinking about this. It's causing you some stress because you know that you have something to give and something to offer. And you know that you feel called, you feel this in your heart, but something just isn't coming through. And so, oftentimes, because of that, you begin to sound kind of broad in your work. You're kind of vague. People are not real clear about what it is that you're doing or how you're showing up. And I've been there. I've done it, unsure about what direction, doing a few different things until my ancestors in a meditation came to me and said, "Look, this is what you're supposed to be doing, helping other people connect with us, with their ancestors, heal those stories so that their true gifts can be revealed and they can share their medicine in the world, which is needed now more than ever." Right? Even before, years ago when I entered into this work was really important. But right now, this is majorly important. We need it. We need it. We need some unity. We need some love. We need some healing. And this is now. So, what happens when you're not clearly in the know of what your lineage medicine is? It becomes really difficult to stand out in a really crowded market. I mean, we're seeing, I don't, you, most of you is have probably seen more and more people that are doing work, spiritual work, self-help work, people who are leading. We're seeing more and more of it. And the way to really stand out in a really powerful way is knowing what you uniquely came here to offer and how that medicine runs through you and how it aligns with your soul's purpose, your soul's reason for being here. And really, that not being able to stand out, let's make this really clear. It's not because you're not gifted, because you all are. You have a gift, you hold gifts inside of you, skills, knowledge, wisdom, things that come to you naturally. So it's not that you're not gifted. It's because a deeper truth of your work hasn't been fully identified. And that is really important. It's important for us to know that. And I want to make it clear, I'm not talking about standing out so that you become louder or you show up everywhere. I'm talking about standing out because you're clear. And what happens is when you're really clear, people then say, "Oh, I know somebody that can help you with that." Or they know that you're the go-to person when they're experiencing something. That's the standing out that I'm talking about. It doesn't necessarily mean being louder, being more visible. It's becoming clearer. And when you understand that the lineage medicine is shaping your work and you heal those ancestral stories, interfering with that expression, that's when the work gets clear and that's where the sweet spot is. You become clear. What you offer becomes clear. What you're known for gets clearer. And you begin to stand out from a truer place, from a real soul aligned place. Not because you learned how to be a better marketer overnight, because you finally understand what's uniquely yours. And that is the real shift. That's where we shift. And I'm really sharing this because I want to see everyone who is holding something in that they haven't been able to express to be able to express it. Because there's nothing more challenging. Well, I guess there are other things that are more challenging, but one of the many things that is challenging is when you know you hold something and you have something and you can't figure out how to let it come out. You can't figure out how to express it. And it can make you just feel weighted down and uncomfortable. And what I know is whatever it is that you're holding from your lineage, there are people out there right now that need it. They need it from you. So the more you're not showing it and expressing it, the more there are of people who are not healing from the work that you do, right? Your work can create a healing for them, and they're not able to experience it because you're not offering it. And oftentimes you're not offering it because you're not clear about what it is because there's some ancestral stories interfering, maybe even some fear about it. But that's the work that we do. So I want to invite you to reflect on a few questions. And what I will do is when I send the replay, I'll include these questions in the replay email that I'll send out. I'll also go over to Zoom and excuse me, Facebook, and I'll post them in the comments on Facebook as well. That way, if you miss some of them, it's okay. But I want you to just start thinking. So there's several questions here. What comes naturally to you in your work that you may still be overlooking? What comes naturally to you and you may still be overlooking? And you may even have some of the answers now. And if you do and you want to drop it in the chat, drop it in the chat. If you want to drop it in the comments, drop it in the comments on Facebook. I will go back and look at it. What do people consistently receive from you? And this may be something that they tell you that they receive from you. They give you feedback about, oh, you're really easy to talk to. You provide me with so much great guidance and wisdom. What is it? What has always been there in the way you guide? What has always been there? What is it that continuously comes up for you in how you guide, lead, support, teach, or help others? What has always been there in the way you guide, support, teach, lead, or help others? And what feels hardest to identify right now about what is uniquely yours to offer? And what ancestral stories might still be interfering with your ability to see clearly? I'll say it again. What ancestral stories might still be interfering with your ability to see it clearly? You may even know that one off the top of your head. You may know of an ancestral story that is showing up that's interfering with you right now. Some of the stories that I deal with are abandonment, abuse, anger, betrayal, grief, shame, scarcity, and there's another one in there somewhere too. But those are some of the stories, and those may be coming up for you. These are really important questions. It helps you to begin to think about your lineage medicine and what's actually there for you. The answers to these questions often point to what's underneath the work. They begin to point to the medicine beneath the roles and the certifications and the titles you received. And they help you start to look at a deeper clarity. They help you to begin to have some clarity. So, all of this to say, you have something unique in your blood and bones. And when I've done this work with women, what I have seen is a beautiful shift in how they show up in the world, how they show up in their families, how they show up in their relationships, how they show up in their relationship to money. It shifts their health, and it also shifts how they support other people and what they do with their work, whether they're an entrepreneur, a leader, or they're still working in a corporate environment. In any of those ways, it makes a shift. And that's why I created Conjure Lineage Medicine, because I want all of us to know what that medicine is. And I want to support you with knowing specifically what your medicine is. That is ancestral work. I want to see more women expressing their gifts. And as I said before, and I will say it over and over again, it is needed more now than ever. We're the healers, the teachers, the seers, the nurturers, and the powerful negotiators that are needed right now. And conjure lineage medicine is my most sacred work. It is the work that women have been coming to me for years, and a few men sprinkled in there too. But they've been coming to me for years to really be able to learn this. And I've seen the shift. I've seen it change how my clients offer their work. I've seen it change how they lead. I've seen it change how they operate within their own family units. I've seen relationships heal. I've seen marriages saved, all because of this ancestral wisdom that can guide us and support us. So it really helps spiritual women entrepreneurs and leaders connect deeply with their ancestors, heal the stories that interfere with clarity, and uncover the lineage medicine that shapes what is yours truly to offer. And that's what Conjure Lineage Medicine does. And we've talked a lot before about conjure, and conjure is my word for having direct connection with the guidance and wisdom of your ancestral team, village, council, whatever you want to call it. Because when we have that connection, then you get clearer on the work that you want to be known for. And that's where your power is. And that's how you stand out in what is becoming an ever increasing crowded market, which is okay. It's great that there are more people doing the work. We need more people to do the work. But the ones that are actually able to help people are the ones that are really clear about what the gifts are that are naturally running through them. So you begin to offer the work from a place that is rooted and not forced. And I want to make this clear. This isn't about inventing something to sound impressive or, um, kind of coming up with something that's different or just because it's different. This is that moment where you go, this is me. This is where I sit. This is what feels right. It's uncovering what's already true. It's recognizing what is naturally yours. It's healing what has been in the way for maybe years, maybe even generations. It's about building from a real truer foundation because you don't need to invent what makes you more powerful. It's already there. You just need to uncover it, understand it, and then build from it. That is the work. That is the sacred work. That is lineage work. That is legacy in action. Legacy in action. So I want to leave you with this last question. What feels hardest to identify right now about what is uniquely yours to offer? What feels hardest to identify right now about what is uniquely yours to offer? And just sit with it. Sit with those other questions that I mentioned. Just sit with it and allow it to kind of come through. You don't have to have a polished answer. You just need an honest one. Because that one question may be pointing you toward the very thing that is ready to be revealed and brought through. You have it. You can lead with it. You can work with it. It is there for you. The ancestors are ready to help you with it. You just have to be ready and open to receive it. And in conjure lineage medicine, that's exactly what we do. I connect with your ancestors and I discover what the medicine is, what the stories are that are interfering, how they want to communicate with you to continue the guidance without me having to be there. That's what we work on. That's what we cover so that you can share your work in the world in a much more powerful way. So I want to thank you for joining me today. And for those of you with me on Zoom, stick around for the Q&A. And for those watching on Facebook or watching the replay, if you want to come on our Zoom call, you're welcome to join us on Zoom. I'll put the link in the comments if you identify that I really would like to be on Zoom. I'll put the link there. And then you can join us for the Conjure Conversations Q&A, which is always after we finish. I stop recording and we have real talk. So feel free to join us for that. Once again, just type Zoom in the comments. So thank you again for being here, for joining me today for another Conjure Conversations. I'm Dr. Monique, the Conjuress, an Ancestral griot. And remember, success is already in your DNA. You just have to listen and allow it to come forward. Thank you again. Bye for now. See you next week at the same time on Wednesday for Conjure Conversations, 1:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Come and hang out with us. Bye for now.